Yeah, you did. I was like, yeah, I'm going live, and I'm like, wait, I need to actually like change the stream title and stuff like that. You were here first, Han. Half a second. We're still on the starting soon screen. Good morning. Let's see. That's totally fine. Turn my music down a smidge. Cool. All right. Welcome, everyone. Let's see here. All right, we will go. There we go. I like how I make the sound effects, even though the sound effects are in the thing. There we go. Light. Let's see here. One last thing I gotta do here. It probably is. How do you know that? That's the real question. Likely story. All right. So I had actually a good idea this morning. And it's lower the number of player structures. Basically like half them, you know, instead of having 2 copies, you only have 1 copy of each. And the thought behind that is that you won't end up with scenarios where exactly. So you don't end up just having a handful of structures, and then you'd never have that sort of issue ever happen. Plus, I think maybe it'll end up having interesting gameplay, so you don't feel like you should just sack your structures just for no reason. It's like you only get one of them. You're not going to get it again. So I feel like that could be interesting, maybe. But I don't know, just a thought. I feel like that's a good solution without like, or I mean, alternatively, we could just double the other cards, but there's a chance of that. Yeah, that's true. It just sounds like I'm talking to a ghost. Let's see. How does that work? That would be crazy, which sounds even more crazy to anyone listening because I'm just talking to myself. Why isn't it though? No. Love it. Beautiful. Love it. All right, Han, I think this might fix it.
Okay.
Let's say words.
I'm going to start talking.
Yay!
Yep.
At least it should. It's showing volume levels at least. Let's see.
Yeah, no, my audio's in. I hear it.
Okay, perfect. It's like, okay, dope.
Yeah,
But
Beetle
yes.
was actually going crazy the entire time.
Yeah,
Chat.
there is no Kyle, only me talking to myself.
There is no Kyle, only Zool. No one will get that reference.
Oh, you can actually see Luna. Look at this.
Oh.
Just hanging out on the couch. Just a little sleepy kitten.
Little Luna. Luna Bellona.
I do have a cat cam now for her
I
extra
saw it,
little spot. Yeah.
Yesterday or the day before, whichever day you were streaming, where you initially showed it off to
yesterday. Yeah. Yesterday and then Tuesday, but yeah. Yeah, anyway. But yeah, so that's an idea. Or alternatively, we could like double the other cards, but
when it comes to card count right now, I'm more of a proponent of reducing card counts to try and control ratios rather than adding cards, because adding cards, while it does increase the ratio of something happening, it also increases variability, meaning like you can, if you have more cards, you still can run into the same problem because you just have the same number of cards. Like there's nothing preventing someone from drawing a hand of just structures. If you have like, if you have 6 lands but 2 structures, you can still draw an entire hand of structures. In fact, it is still possible. Whereas if we reduce it, technically it's still possible, but it's a lot less likely.
Yeah, so I think that could be interesting. I don't know if that's something that's doing it. Okay, deal. Yeah, because that was like a problem that we, like from the, the game jam judging, that's like we still didn't really have a fix for, and that seems like it's a high probability of fixing the problem. Besides, structures are pretty powerful. Like they give you unique effects that nothing else can, really, for the most part. So but yeah, there's that. Oh, did you see the new icons that I made?
I haven't yet.
Oh, here.
I saw that you were working on them today, but
I
was like talking on the screen.
Yeah. How do I do the card pop out? There we go. So yeah, they look so much better than just the words.
Ooh, those.
Right.
Even from a distance, that looks nice.
Here, I can probably make it a little bigger too. Wait, can I make it bigger? Yeah. There we go.
From a distance, I just realized. Meaning it's a small on the screen, and that's what I'm looking at.
I figured. Yeah, so, and then like you can have things like the Nethermuck who doesn't attack land at all, and like that kind of thing. And
oh no, that's actually a lot better than having text. Having like gem icons is so much nicer.
I was worried that like the colors would look weird with like this having its own sort of color theme, but it doesn't. It looks. I mean, I tried to keep them like relatively in line with like.
I think because you're using the pastel style colors that the rest of the card uses, they kind of work. It still like draws cohesion.
And I just have strongest on here. The text is a little big. I'm gonna have to fix that, but I don't know if that's actually should be on there, but it kind of attacks the strongest, so I just put it on there, but just for the giggles. But yeah, I think it looks much better. We should actually probably play around with attack order more. Like we don't have anything that attacks lands first. Like having something that's really weak that attacks lands might be interesting. But
yeah,
that's a later issue. Cool. All right. But yeah, what do you want to work on? We've got I got wait, do you the other thing too. Ready for this? Spoop. It's an Armies against Entropy themed counter.
Ah, nice.
I had to go into scripting to make this actually work too. It was funny.
Okay.
I mean, it's mostly me just changing values of text, but yeah.
I mean, still one. It's a good start for you to like start getting more familiar. You've not really done any programming in your life beyond like the
Game Maker.
Does
StarCraft? Yeah, I was gonna say, does Redstone and Minecraft count?
A little, like honestly,
it's logic.
That's one of the most advanced gaming. Like it basically represents circuitry, which is nuts.
Yeah, it's great.
Like people have made Game Boys and like old computers in Minecraft. It is scary.
Yeah, so I got all the art stuff done. I basically got those counters in. I got the board to say minions on it and the attack order icons. Those are all in there.
I feel like if we're gonna talk about something, we should probably do something like fun and interesting.
Agreed. Do you wanna look over the gods real quick?
Oh yeah, we should probably do that.
Just to confirm that you like that. And so yeah, the God of Humanity still generates 2 units per turn, but they also have an additional gain 2 units when a card is played. So
all I will say, not as like a negative, but just a general comment, the balancing of this is going to be completely off now.
Oh, 100%, yeah. It's going to be, I mean,
I'm not opposed to making the gods much more, a more proactive part of the player's strategy. I feel like you kind of need it to be a proactive part of the player's strategy, to be honest.
For sure. Yeah, agreed. I mean, probably the problem is, like, God of War was generating, like, a lot of units per turn. Like, if you have 2 heroes down, you're generating, it was 3 before, they were generating, like, 6 per turn. So it was like, and then with God of Humanity, it's only like a one-time thing, so it's a little bit different. But yeah, the balancing is definitely going to be weird, but I think they're all feel more evenly, or like all more interesting and evenly interesting, if that makes sense.
I think the God of the Harvest is still going to be broken.
Probably, maybe. I don't know, because it's only when they place it yet again. But
it is, but like if you've got like 5-6 lands down, then you just start gaining 5-6 units a turn in theory. Yeah. But then I guess you need to have lands in hand.
Yeah, you have to have them in your hand, so
you're kind of resource capped there. Ooh,
yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Again, like this is a lot of this is going to need to be tested rather than just like.
Yeah, but I think it's just tweaking the value. Excuse me, I am so tired yawning up a storm.
You're good.
Yeah, I think it's tweaking the values, but the basis of it is still very interesting because it's super, again, proactive, and like some of them are value over time, like unit is destroyed or player card is destroyed or unit heroes attacking. Some of it is more of like bursts of units, but you're gonna run out of the resource you're using to get those units pretty quickly.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, so this was changed to player card rather than all cards for God of Destruction.
That's fair.
Yeah.
It was a little OP.
It's not even that it was OP, because we were talking about, me and Maximus, and the idea here is it plays more to a play style, whereas before it was just kind of like you just passively gained a bunch of units. And we set the number to like way higher, but
yeah, so the play it's more about like you want your stuff to die, so you're trying to set things up in a way to make it die, as opposed to before where it was great, things died, I get units.
Yeah, exactly. It was passively good because like God of War is already getting stuff when enemy stuff dies. You may as well have it, so it's kind of a little more interesting. And yeah,
I'll be honest, I didn't read this one yet. God of Magic might actually be the most broken thing.
I mean, that's how they've always been. So,
really?
Yep, that is exactly what they were forever. They've always been draw an additional card per turn.
Huh.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, never mind. I looked at it and I was like, wow, drawing additional card, that's so broken in this game because cards are like card draw is pretty rare, and it's not a. For anyone on the stream, I don't think anyone is watching right now, but for anyone's on the stream, if you've watched the Card Wars dude who's building the game from Adventure Time, one of the things they talk about in that game is how like there's a kind of a soft mana system because of the fact that you never draw cards, so every time you play a card, you're effectively decreasing the number of options you have because you'll never draw another one. We don't have it as strict, but we still kind of have that in this game where it's like if you play 4 cards in a turn, you're only going to draw 1 card the next turn, so you're just not really gaining back that resource. So card draw is powerful.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize that we've had him the same way the entire time. I feel like he might be softly the most broken still.
Well, oh yeah, it's super powerful. But God of Magic also wasn't always in the game. It was when we were like deciding we wanted more card draw, and I was like, well, I guess we could try having a. I mean, this could be like, we could end up making this like conditional or something. Like if you have 5 units on the god, you can draw an additional card. But arguably, these other cards are much more powerful right now, so it might balance itself out slightly. So,
true.
Because if you have the God of Magic, you're not gaining units nearly as fast. So, that would be my thought. So we'll have to see, but okay. So there's a few. Let's look at what we need to actually talk about. But do you like them overall?
Yeah,
you think it's decent?
Okay, I like the direction. I like the fact that it's like you were talking about, and you said you were working with Maximus yesterday. Each god kind of encourages a playstyle, which is better than before because not all the gods did. Some of them did, and some of them didn't.
Yeah, for sure. My mic didn't just get messed up, did it? No, okay. Just hit like a weird button. It did things. Okay, cool. Yeah, so that's good. We'll have to put all that in the... Is there like a format you're doing here? Just besides, like, are we set for the patch notes part here? Is this like the subtitle, Old God deck rework?
Yes.
Or okay, so that's our... Okay, and then we'll have like art or like, player deck and that kind of stuff. Okay. I just wanted to make sure because you had like some stuff going on. And I can add into there, but I just wanted to make it consistent, you know? But yeah, we don't necessarily have to like do all that this instant, but I just figured I just wanted to know how you were doing it and make sure.
So the idea is like headers to like do important stuff, and then within it just do bullets.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll update the art thing and all those because I did those, and then we have the new god stuff. But okay, I feel like we might even just move all these new cards to a new file because it's not like future ideas file. Does that make sense? Because we're not doing new cards, are we? No.
I mean,
we could, but I feel like it's just we're already changing so much.
Yeah, we probably shouldn't introduce new cards right now. That should probably be a 1.2 update. I don't know. I was the only reason I'm kind of saying it that way is just it would have been more interesting probably for today to work on new cards.
I mean, we could.
Like, things that you're streaming, but I don't know. I don't know if it's a good idea.
Yeah.
There's so many other changes happening.
I think, maybe we could take some of these ideas and tweak some of the cards that we have, like existing cards. Like maybe we could add AoE to something, or like, or add more card draw to something. But I don't know exactly how that would work.
Oh, I briefly disconnected. Okay, it's all good. Yeah, I don't think we should add new cards right now. We're making a lot of pretty big changes.
Yeah, for sure. Yo, Kobe, what's up? Thanks for joining. Yeah, I think probably the way to go about it is honestly reworking some of these like things that are really messed up, like charm. We could fix teleport, growth, like all these player cards that are kind of messed up. It's mostly rewording, but I think like in the way we reword it can kind of be more interesting and
yeah, let's probably do that.
Yeah. Yeah, cool.
Let's tackle the worst god. I'm yawning so much.
No, you're good, dude.
Let's tackle probably the worst card we have in the game right now.
Charm. just to, I guess, show it on stream. Charm. Why is everything broken? Oh, it's not. Okay, good. It was all, actually, everything was broken this morning. I like opened it up and I had like moved stuff to a different folder and it was fine last night, and I moved to it and it was just all completely dead. But yeah, here's Charm. Basically allows you to take control of a monster. But the problem is it's got a lot of issues with not enough context, basically. So
yeah, it causes problems because if you're not familiar with the game, basically monsters have a power level of some value, but player cards have units that you allocate to them that indicate like their strength and health.
Mm-hmm.
Power level is a set number. It just says it on the card. Units are freeform. Like, as you play the game, the player cards will gain and lose units over the course of it. So you're already introducing a problem there of, like, how the F does that work when you charm a monster?
Yeah. Go watch on Twitch, less latency. Yeah, for some reason, YouTube just... Like, I can see your comments as they pop up on my thing, but on the stream, it just takes forever. Because apparently, it's not, like, actual live recording or something weird. I don't know. According to the Caster Labs people. But anyway, yeah. So, basically, it just functions too weirdly. So, it's definitely kind of broken. But yeah. So our tentative fix was just, yeah, changing it to basically just ignore everything on the card, and it's just a hero with the number of units equal to the power level. Yeah, but that feels weird.
Yeah. It feels like I'm all for the idea of like certain cards break rules, and that's how like a game can be fun, is that you establish the rules and great cards that break those rules. Mm-hmm. This one is breaking a lot of rules.
It's not just breaking one rule, it's breaking all of them. Yeah. I'm trying to think of ways it could be more interesting. I guess the first thing to do is just like look at monster cards and see how that interacts with them, because like I kind of like... Yeah, the monster cards are too varied. Like, it could be cool, like, to still have the enemy have the additional effect. Like, their base effect still applies. But that gets weird with certain things. Like with Chaos Worm, it would be cool, right? Because, like, if the hero that you're using ends up dying, the enemy gets to draw more cards, right? I think that's kind of interesting. But the problem with that is there's no way to counteract that if you want to. It's like, if you go in on this, it's really bad.
Yeah, it, like, this discourages you from actually charming certain cards.
Which is maybe okay, but like, yeah, like charming a rift spawner would be very dangerous because it still lets the god
another turn.
Yeah, but on the other hand, it you have a 7-unit thing that you could use, and you can, I guess, technically make it like unalive itself, you know.
Right, YouTube. Forgot.
Yeah, to use the no, I mean, I don't think they really care that much, but maybe they do. I don't know.
Let's try not to demonetize you.
Even though I'm not monetized yet. I'm so close. I need 50 more subscribers and like
you have to hit like
a handful of watch hours. Yeah, I'm very, very close. I think next video I'll get there more than likely. That's assuming my video does well, but I'm gonna assume it just because.
I mean, I think it will. The game down. Anyway,
we've been trending pretty, or I've been trending. You know, like the videos have been doing better and better each time, rather than worse or anything. So, fingers crossed, brother. I'm trying to too. Yeah. Or I'm trying to. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Yeah. Okay,
no. Why do you have so many underscores?
Oh,
your
yeah.
YouTube name is Kobe Dev, and your Twitch name is Kobe _____.
That's what I said yesterday. I was like, it's a fill in the blank. You can put whatever you want in there.
Nice. Design choice. Valid.
Yeah.
You know what? I see you. I feel you.
I love it. It's great.
Charm, taking control of a enemy monster but keeping their effect active. Interesting trade-off. Because it functions effectively as a bit of a removal spell.
Yeah.
But not entirely. And it does help the player, but there's a lot of trade-off to it because, like, there's still... Oh, how would that work with the World Ender, though?
I think its effect would still work. Right? It would still kill one of your... Yeah, see, like, it gets, like, weird...
World Ender is weird, because World Ender doesn't actually attack, which...
Well, it says when attacking, so technically it's attacking, but...
But it says when attacking, it instead destroys.
Yeah, so technically it would... Yeah, it's too powerful.
Instead of attacking, it destroys, so...
In theory, that should mean it would attack for you and deal...
But then enemy cards don't have units. It just destroys the card with the most units.
Oh, actually, so it technically destroys your guys' stuff still.
Yeah. So charming the World Ender does nothing.
Well, it still would, in theory, get... So if we have, like, it gets units equal to its power level, right? Oh, but it can't attack, right? Well, it does have power level. Its power level is equal to the number of units or cards on the player's board. So you get just a shit ton of units, in theory. I mean, or not a lot, depending on when it's drawn, but you get X number of units.
Okay, so there's a trade-off there of, like, you get a bunch of units that maybe, depending on the cards you have available, you can allocate to a different hero. but it's still destroying your shit.
But whatever that is, it's just, well... Wait, does it instant... Sorry.
Wait a minute.
Does it just kill itself turn 2? Because it gets a crap ton of units and it destroys the card controlled by the players with the most units, which in theory would be it, and then it just dies.
So confusing.
It's more interesting. Like, I think, yeah, you remove... So let's just pretend we do this. You remove the cap on the number of the power level charm can take over. The effect is still active in benefit to the old god.
But you get a new quote unquote hero that has some variable amount of units.
Which gets the number of units equal to its power level. Is this too complicated?
That's what I'm a little worried about, is just like...
It still might end up being an issue, because there's a lot of, like...
Very complicated, too. Like
Abyssal Horde. In theory, it's spawning minions for the enemy monster every time it attacks.
Yeah, I don't...
Yeah, that doesn't work. Yeah, it doesn't work.
It's so complicated, and you have to have, like, a very strong understanding of the rule set in order for this to, like, make sense. Because, like, it makes sense for us when we're talking about things like the World Ender, where, you know, we're walking through and being like, okay, but even if it's under your control, when it's attacking, it would still just destroy the thing with the most units. But that's because we have, like, an intrinsic understanding to our own rules.
Right, yeah.
The average player is not going to have that, nor are they even going to be, like... I'm also, like, playing with a lot of history of like Magic the Gathering in my head where there's a lot of like, well, read the card, interpret it literally, and see what it does.
Yeah. No worries, Kobe. I appreciate you being on here and hanging out for a minute.
Like you dropping by.
Yeah.
Don't ask why I said bye.
Bye. Dropping by. I appreciate it, man. Appreciate you coming hang out. Yeah, it's late for you.
Oh, you gotta be like Europe based then?
Australia, right?
Australia. Oh, god damn.
Yeah. Like exact opposite time.
Not quite, but pretty close. I think India is 12 and a half hours off of us. Australia's 16, I think.
I don't know exactly, but
I'm trying to remember time zones. I don't have to deal with Australia much with work, so I don't remember their time zone, but ostensibly they'd be close to like Japan and Korea.
Yeah, I'm not 100% certain what his
Yeah, for context, chat, I have a global role at a streaming company, and so as a result I have to deal with like Japan and Korea and the Netherlands and France and the UK and
everywhere.
I have an intrinsic knowledge of time zones for any country I deal with at this point.
The time man. I don't know. I'm just saying words.
Time man. That's a card we should add. That's a cool name.
The time man. The time god. Ooh.
Time god.
Time god. Don't know what it does. Unless you go back a turn. I get way too confusing.
No.
I hate that. No. Yeah. All right. Anyway.
Charm. Charm.
Charm. We're distracted. What if... I was like, what if it's... that gets things really confusing, too. Like, it takes it over to your side, but it has to attack in the attack order that it is specified.
Yeah, but that's also confusing.
Yeah.
I think this is why we initially went with the idea, or we're leaning towards the idea of it just removes all text effectively from the card.
Yeah. Is it that confusing, though? Because it would have to attack strongest, which still is power level, basically, right? Although with World Ender, it gets...
It's less confusing. It's more now you have a bunch of things that the player has to remember.
Yeah. And it doesn't really change things all that much. I mean, like...
There's a... Wow, look, I went all of 30 seconds before I talked about Magic again. There's a concept in Magic about, like... so Magic has a lot of cards that have triggered abilities or triggered effects, and people usually refer to them as triggers.
Right.
When you have a ton of triggers, it becomes mentally taxing to remember, like, okay, well, this card does this thing, and this card has to do this thing, and when this happens, this card does a thing.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I'd be worried about with keeping attack order on a charmed card.
Yeah.
It'd be just now you have to remember, okay, this one card only behaves in this certain way.
Yeah.
So, hi, Maximus. Welcome.
Hey, Maximus.
You didn't miss much. We've been talking about Charm. By talking about Charm, I've been going on tangents.
Yeah, trying to fix Charm for real this time. As a refresher, here it is. We were talking about maybe... well, Magic is a big turn off for me. It's keeping things in your head.
No, respect. Like, literally, me and my playgroup of Magic have our, like, really complicated decks, and then we have our dumb... no one has to track anything decks where it's just play a card, attack, end of turn.
Yeah. So yeah, we're trying to figure out what it can do more interestingly than just provide you with a set number of units equal to the card, but that just feels Hold up. We have a new mechanic. What if it just... What if it, like, charms... I'm just trying to think of something more interesting. Like, you could have it, like, charm, like, every minion, and then they all become a... That's a lot of heroes that you get on instantly, though.
But I see where you're going here.
But there's something, right? Like, we could try to use...
Something that deals with minions more directly.
Yeah, like, it takes over all minions, and minions just become a one-unit thing. What if Charm keeps the card as it is? Would be, but it costs as many units as power level on that card. That's cool, but it also doesn't solve the problem, like, if you have... Because the problem is the card text gets really confusing when you bring it over to your side. Like, yeah. Abyssal Horde, like, if it attacks, it gains minions, so are you gaining minions? Is the enemy gaining minions?
Or more specifically, World Ender is the big problem. One of, like, it attacks, it can just... attacking, it destroys the card with the most units. In theory, you're destroying your own cards, but also that gets kind of confusing, because now you have to remember that it behaves weirdly. I said you didn't miss much, Maximus, but that is the one thing you missed, is, like, the concept of leaving a monster card as is the confusing thing we're kind of worried about.
Yeah.
I'm not totally opposed to it still, but, like, it's a lot of mental energy for a player to be tracking these cards that are on their side but not doing what they intend. That should be reversed as the side of the card changes. Meaning, I think what Max was saying is meaning, like...
Oh, it should be for you.
Card would be for you.
Yeah, but, like, what, again, like, with Abyssal Horde, what does a minion mean for you? It could mean units, maybe, but you don't have minions. It's only a... you know, an enemy thing. Obviously, with World Ender could just attack and destroy the strongest thing.
Yeah, some of these would work. Some of these would still be like, to your point, minion is... It's creating this weird situation where there either has to be a ton of card text on Charm, or, like, every card has to be specific about Charm.
Yeah, we have to design every card around Charm, which feels not worth it.
This was a mistake.
Yeah, I guess it's better to abandon the idea. It would get too complex. Yeah, I think
I'm getting to that point of, like, do we just replace Charm with a card that effectively does something similar?
Probably, maybe. I'm thinking about maybe that minion idea. I think that might be...
Like, you get units equal to the number of minions. Destroy all minions or something.
Oh, yeah. I mean... What if Charm just takes a creature...
See, that's the original version of Charm.
With that many... well, sort of. It just didn't have... That was what we were going to change it to. A creature as a hero with as many units. Yeah. I almost actually kind of like it destroys all minions and gives you units equal to those number of minions.
Definitely probably needs a rename and a rework on the art then, because I think Charm is not quite the right effect.
Sort of. I guess it would be like taking... Because minions are essentially enemy units, but...
That's the theory. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think the idea there is that it works as an AoE ability, which is something we want to add into the game, right? And then it also... I mean, it has a similar feel. I would say it doesn't really feel like Charm, but...
No. That's what I'm saying. Like, it probably...
Yeah.
Like this. Destroy all minions. You gain units equal to the number of minions destroyed. Oh, you're sorry.
I was on the wrong page, but yeah, I gotcha. Destroy all minions equal to the number of minions. Yeah.
Definitely not Charm. Like, thematically, Charm does not Charm sounds nice, and like you bring something over to your side. This is like I shall smite you.
Yeah. But I mean, you're gaining units, which in theory is like, yeah, it's
Maximus has got a good idea,
like Soul Reap or something like that. That would be cool.
Yeah, something.
I don't
something
think I'm gonna change the card art for this thing, but I think like for this patch, but I probably will if this ends up working out.
I'm gonna mark it as.
How about you destroy me? Yeah, Trash Trader. Oh, you know I will.
You have PG-13 kids.
In Minecraft, you know, I'll destroy them in Minecraft, as the kids say. Anyway. Oh, Liebers. All right, let's okay, so that's probably good enough for now. It's more interesting. It plays with the new mechanic. It yeah.
I'm just noting that if this works, if the mechanic, the idea of the card works, then
yeah,
we're gonna either redo the artwork, rename the card. I put in Soul Reap as the idea that Maximus mentioned.
Yeah,
just to have it because, yeah, I agree. Not really worth spending the time redoing the art now until we know that this actually works. I think it's gonna work.
Yeah,
but let's test it first.
Yeah. I mean, alternatively, it could, like, bring it to your side and, like, they could be, like, you could just get a bunch of heroes, but that seems pretty strong.
That feels OP.
Yeah. So, I think this works for now. Okay. Charm done. Nope. All right, send reinforcements.
What's wrong with send reinforcements again?
Everything.
Okay, well. Oh, this one was like switching it modal?
Yeah, we want it to be modal, so we want it to be...
This feels easier. Oop.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even think of doing choose one.
Choose one. You may place units onto another player's card, move units from one hero onto to another during this turn. Oh, wait, hold on. You may move.
Let's see how that appears on the card. Let me see if that formats correctly. Because if it does in there, but let me see. Oops, wrong thing. Player cards.
That's a mod code.
Oh, that should not be. Well, I was like, yeah, I just won't show this thing, and I showed something else that's important. Well, here we are. Where were we?
And reinforcements, testing the formatting.
I think that works. Maybe just put a period after the first one, but...
Oh. Yeah, I tried to put periods in all of these and then promptly did not do that.
It's fine. I was just saying just to differentiate them, at least those things there, but...
I kind of want to do this, even though it's more of a magic thing. I don't... Oh, wait, we're center justified, aren't we?
Yeah, we are.
That. What about that? How does that look?
That's definitely going to be too many...
Lines?
Lines.
Yep.
I could try it. Here, let's see.
Oh, I removed it.
Okay, it's going to be too many lines, honestly.
Okay, we'll just go with this then. I think that's...
Yeah, that works.
Actually, I'm just gonna call, instead of charm rework, I'm gonna call this spell card fixes. For the notes.
That was not the right copy thing. I'm gonna take our new cards and just move them. Move these to here. There we go. Okay. All right, center reinforcements is fixed. Shift Alt 5. Yeah. Oh man. Next we have bridge stuff, unless we want to go to fix teleport and all the other spells.
Teleport.
Okay. Okay. I was gonna say teleport, cognitive enhanced, and bridge. Or not bridge growth. I mean, yeah, no, totally.
Oh, this was another modal one.
Yes.
God damn it, I keep pressing the wrong keys.
How dare you? This one's gonna have a lot of text.
Because the what we want here is when you play it, you can move your cards to a player's play space, or they can move their cards to yours.
Yes. I think we should write it out and then see if we can simplify it. It's probably the best way to do it. Yeah. And then close that. Okay.
Choose one. You may move any number of cards you control in play.
Here, we'll do this. There we go.
Oh, you can hear. Sorry, I'm just hearing streaming, and you can hear my keyboard like click clacking.
Oh no, you're good. She's any number of cards soon. I feel like from your play space is maybe not necessary. What if it's move any number of cards from any players or any player into any other play space player?
Oh, make it's not modal. It's just it says move cards from one person to another, but that way you can make it whichever direction you want.
That might work. Move any number of cards from any player to any other player.
One player's control to any other player's control.
And then you just maybe make sure to say it's limited.
When you say limited, what do you?
Well, just make sure it's not. No, I think that's. Does that make sense? Is that
any cards in play?
Yeah.
Move any number of cards in play from one player's control to any other player's control. What do we call having a card on the table? Is that in play or play space? Do we call it battlefield? What do we call it?
I don't know if we. I thought we had a term somewhere. Trying to think of a card. I mean, wait, doesn't.
I swear to God, we have.
Didn't we just do teleport? Any number of cards in play? Yeah. That's what we said, but.
But is that the only example of referring to like? In play. In play exists. Play space. Play space is only on teleport.
What a time.
Battlefield. No.
We definitely don't use Battlefield.
Yeah. It's literally just, if it's on the table, we call it in play.
Yeah.
Okay, so move any number of cards in play from one player's control to any other player's control.
I'm trying to decide if that can be misconstrued, you know?
Yeah. I am the dumbest person on Earth. How would I misinterpret this?
I could see it being misinterpreted with like multiplayer. You could say like to a single other player's control. That sounds weird. A single
Oh, yeah, that's the one place you could misinterpret this of like, I could take all of my cards and give them to 3 other players.
Yeah. But of course that's if we do more multiplayer stuff or like more.
But I'm not entirely opposed to that.
Yeah. It still would mean you
pick one person, you're like, your cards are the ones we can move around.
Yeah. Well, it says player singular. Yeah, it
does. I agree, Maximus. Yeah. I don't think it necessarily should work that way, but you could misinterpret it as like, well, I can move any number of cards from one player's control to any other players, meaning if I have 3 players, I pick my player that has the cards and I can move it to one card to player 1 because that's only moving to one person, and one card to player 2 because that's still only moving a card to one person.
Yeah.
So I could see the misinterpretation.
It also has like it's sounds plural, but it's possessive and and not whatever. But that could end up confusing people, I'm sure. But
who knew you had to be an English major for game dev?
Wow, honestly, yeah. The only other thing I would say is just like with another player's consent, right? Because you're taking their cards, you shouldn't be able to do it without them wanting you to, right? Like I shouldn't be able to steal all your cards from your thing. Not that it would like make sense, but I feel like you could just cheese people that way, right?
There's a joke here about introducing the consent as a mechanic. I just don't want to make it.
PG-13. PG? I don't know. Both? Either?
I don't
anyway.
know YouTube anymore.
We're all screwed. Anyway. I mean, you could just say like, with agreement or something at the beginning, move, or like with a player's agree, or with a.
Well, do we need to introduce a concept of agreement or consent as a mechanic? Because I'm going to phrase it this way, basically.
Yeah.
If the card just says move any number of cards from one player's control to any other player's control, if you use that to steal your friend's cards, your friend is never going to want to play the effing game with you again.
Yeah, right. True. Like, do we even need to say it is kind of the idea, right?
I don't think we need to, because I think that, like, because this is a co-op game,
right?
You're not gonna screw over your friend who's also playing with you when you're both trying to achieve the same goal of winning the game. You're gonna be like talking with them and trying to like math out, does it make sense for us to do this and for me to take all of your cards?
Yeah.
Because if you use this as a way to cheese someone, then that person's just gonna be like, well, I'm never gonna play with you. Yeah, like Maximus says it. It's either you wouldn't screw your friends over anyway, or you'd have fun doing it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's true.
I think we can not introduce the concept of consent to this game. Oh, Lord.
Yep. Here we are.
Okay, yeah. So move any number of cards in play from one player's control to any other player's control. I think that works.
I think that works too. Yeah.
Oh, whoa.
That's teleport. You're in the wrong. You're in the wrong zone. You're in the wrong zone.
There you go.
Yeah. It's honestly a lot simpler too, word-wise. Yeah. Thank you, Maximus.
Kind of why I leaned towards it. I know that was a amazing call, Maximus. You gave us like the simplest version of what we want.
Yeah, to not
just,
word bad.
It's a modal spell without actually having it have modes. It's literally just.
Yep.
Here it is. Okay. What's next? Growth? No, cognitive re-enhancement.
What? Why didn't we like this one? Oh, hard limit. Oh, we already fixed it.
Yeah, that's done. Okay. We did it.
Yay! Yeah, because it's the 3 is a good limit instead of every card you have. It's still close to every card you have because a lot of time that's like how many cards you have in your hand. But
you only have like 4 or 5 cards, but at least it's not dump your hand. Because you can't chain a bunch of draw effects into a cognitive enhancement and then like play your entire hand. You still have to have it limited.
It nerfs God of Magic, which is what we really needed. Because imagine you're just playing him and you have 1,000 cards in your hand.
You're like, cool, I'm gonna play every card in my hand. We win.
Yeah.
And then the next one is growth. Needs a rewrite for clarity.
This is kind of getting into bridge stuff, which is just the whole. Well, it's the activated effect discussion to start really, which goes with bridge and I guess the camp a bit. And honestly, just activated effects as a whole, because like some of the things when I was doing the gods, I was like, are these really activated effects or conditional effects or like
they're conditional effects technically.
They're technically a condition, but like are all conditional effects in conditional effects? Not necessarily. Right?
I'm sorry. Can you explain that one a little to me?
Okay. So, let's see. Let me give you a good example. I'm trying to see here, because like I guess we'll just talk about let's talk about God of Humanity or whatever, right? So when a card is played, you play 2 or you gain 2 units on that card. Technically, it's a condition. I guess if you play growth, what does that do, right? Because you're not playing the card again.
I see what you mean. Of like it trigger. Well, in theory, it should trigger it.
But the card isn't replayed, right? It is a condition, but is it a condition that like matters for other effects to trigger? So like then we go to like bridge, right? Bridge technically would make it so I guess when your ally plays cards, they also get this effect, but only if they have a trading post, which trading post gains the additional units on the trading post and not here, and it's like it starts getting weird.
Maximus is right. Activated effects are the mycelium, and the bridge is just the visible version of the problem, basically.
Yeah.
I feel like we might want to take a pass on triggered or conditional effects.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say that's similar to how, guys, it's been almost 30 minutes, and now I get to bring up Magic again.
Yay!
So Magic cards have this concept of a cost and an effect.
Mm-hmm.
Everything on a card prior to the colon is a cost.
Right.
You have to pay the cost before the effect happens. Like it's just a straight up like you don't pay the cost, the effect doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
I think we might want to do a similar thing here with the triggers and the effects of a conditional effect. Meaning, like, let's take God of Humanity.
Yeah.
When a card is played, that's the trigger.
Right.
Place 2 units on that card is the effect.
Right.
If we divide it, it doesn't totally solve the problem of growth, but if we divide it into 2 separate statements, it doesn't have to be 2 separate lines. It could literally just be we introduce colons.
Yeah.
But if we have it where it says, hey, when a card is played, that's the trigger. That's the conditional trigger. And then the effect is place 2 units on that card. That divides it up into 2 separate statements where growth starts to make more sense because growth just says, okay, activate all of those things. Don't worry about the conditional trigger. Just activate the effects. That starts to make a little bit more sense.
Yeah.
So like this would be, instead of hypothetically, when a card is played, place 2 units on the card. It doesn't totally solve it. We still need to like do a little bit of reworking here. But if we divide it into 2 separate statements,
right? When
a card is played, you place 2 units on a card. When a card is destroyed, gain 5 units. When you play a land, gain units on that land equal to number blah 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 blah. Like, we could divide it up, and that starts to help a little bit more with the concept because it basically says just ignore the first half of the statement on each of these cards.
Right. I'm trying to think here too.
I'm gonna just quickly do that to see.
Just
what
do it. I mean, I don't think it hurts, right? I don't think it hurts anything.
Yeah, it just makes the statement.
It looks nicer, for sure. Let's see. Basically,
it's still theft.
Oh yeah, no. So basically, if anything, you could phrase it as having a cost could be triggered or activated effect. The colon makes a lot of sense and makes cards much more understandable. Yeah, it can't hurt to add it. But I mean, like, what's a...
Oh, that one's a little weird.
Which one?
During your unit village, during your unit... That's misspelled. During your unit phase, gain 1 additional unit for every 3 units placed on the structure. That one doesn't have a conditional trigger, really.
Yeah. I think the thing is, activated effects aren't really... Well, I guess the trigger, you could probably rephrase it to be like, if there are If there are 3 units on... I don't know exactly how you'd word this. If there are 3 units on this card... How do we word this? Sorry. I guess, yeah, if there are 3 units on this card, gain 1 unit. Effect stacks or something like that. I'm trying to see if there's any... We used to have some base effects that also had... Like Necromancer, I guess, is a good example. They technically have 2 activated effects.
Yeah.
The biggest, like, differentiation between base effects and activated effects is that activated effects has a specific term that can be affected by other cards. Right? Like, it can be an effect that can be triggered for other reasons, with, like, growth or bridge or... I think that's it.
Yeah.
But I could see using it in other ways as well. Because, like, technically this should be a colon here, right? Or wait, that's not quite worded right. That's not right. But technically, it's a conditional effect, right?
That would be right.
Oh, was it? Would it? Okay.
Yeah. If the card Necromancer Altar is in play, this returns to your hand when.
Okay.
Upon when it dies.
Upon when it dies. Upon once it dies.
Just activated effects were a mistake.
I don't know about that exactly, but
I just mean more like the way we have them right now is confusing.
That's for sure. Or like God of War is another one. Actually, we also have compound activated effects, I think, in some things. Take Fortress, right? If the structure has 5 or more units on it, right? That's one condition. Your heroes gain 2 units. Condition when they attack. Or sort of, right? Like the condition is when they attack, they gain 2 units. So it's technically 2 conditions if you word it correctly. It's if the structure has 5 or more units on it, when the hero attacks, it gains 2 units. Is really a conditional that gives a conditional. Yeah, exactly. So technically they have a double condition. It's just not worded that way exactly. At this point, you have to use colons and semicolons.
Yeah, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that access. Or... Hold on.
I think...
Hold on, I got.
Okay, I'll let you cook.
I'm stealing from Magic again. If this structure has 5 more units on it, condition, your heroes have the effect gain 2 units when they attack.
I like that.
Needs a little reworking, but like I'm stealing.
That actually works. No,
Magic, boys.
No. That actually works really well because this is an effect and not unit gain. Because that was a problem we had with Bridge, right? So
yeah, basically the idea of like your heroes now have an additional effect, which is they gain 2 units when they attack.
But it's not
probably needs to be reworded to when this card attacks, gain 2 units. But
sure, yeah, yeah, it's a lot of weird wording crap at this point. I'm almost wondering if activated effects, because I think we have 2 different kinds of things. We have a cost and we have a condition.
Costs.
We have a cost and a condition, essentially.
How often do we use costs?
Cost is, I would say, a cost would be you have to have 5 or more units or whatever on it, right? Or is that a condition? I don't know. We have that, right? We have
like some things are like you can't do this unless you do something.
Not really.
Did we get rid of that? I thought we had one where it's like, oh, if you have to remove units from a card or discard a card or something like that. Do we not do that?
We have one you discard a card and you gain 2 units. Which is not library. Is it library or Mage's Tower? No.
Yeah, no, it's Mage's Tower. You may discard
which
one
is not, yeah.
2 units.
So the power of that should maybe be like 3 units, but
oh Lord.
Yeah, it's a whole thing.
This is the only example of a cost, a true cost, though.
Correct.
Meaning, like, every other card, there's no other card that actually says, like, oh, pay X, and then you can do something.
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
I think so, yeah. Okay,
I'm gonna say we don't introduce the concept, not to say that we can't say, like, use the word cost, but we don't let's not introduce the concept of cost outside of this one card.
Yeah, for sure. So, okay, let me rephrase. You have your X unit requirements, right? Which makes sense with like growth and stuff. Right?
Some cards have unit requirements. Some cards have conditional requirements.
Yeah. Do we think we should have both of those? I guess is the question.
That's a lot of reworking.
I was gonna say at this point, I guess you have to. Otherwise,
Can we simplify the concepts a little bit?
Well, actually, there is another way we could do this. Is we could break up the effect type. Like, we could have conditional effects, and we could have like unit requirement effects. Obviously, it needs better name.
That's what I was wondering. Yeah. Like, can we simplify it where it's like you've got a base effect, which is just a thing that happens.
Yes.
You have a unit effect where, based on the number of units on the card, it gains additional abilities. And we have conditional effects, which is this thing happens in certain situations.
Yeah. Because what I could easily do, the nice part about the card design, is I can change, like, I could make a different box on here, like a red box instead of a blue one. And that changes the like type of effect it is. We could even call it like blue effect or red effects, right?
It's blue effect, it's like, okay, this requires a certain number of units on the card. If it's a red effect, it's a effect that triggers based on certain conditions.
Correct. Yeah. And then that fixes like other stuff. Yeah, I mean, maybe, but that does fix, growth, right? Because growth should really only be triggering. Ideally, it's only triggering unit effects, right? Like, or number of X units on it, right?
Yes.
And then
okay, so let's introduce the concept of unit effects and conditional effects then.
Okay.
Can I make another column? Will that break things?
Yeah, go for it. Honestly, I broke everything yesterday and I had to fix it anyway, so let's just do it, and then it has to be done at some point. So.
Okay, I'm gonna do this.
All right, we're gonna go back to full screen on this.
We'll call it unit effects, and I'm gonna rename this to conditional.
Okay.
Effect. Unit effect.
Probably have to.
Rename this to just
effect box.
Effect box.
Yeah, and then I'll have to change the code in here, but that's okay. I'll just have it like, if this box is filled, it does one thing. If this box is filled, it does other thing. If it's not, it says no. All right, so let's separate this.
Do we want the option of having both and it's a purple box? Because I think there's a few that might be both. Okay, you know what? Let's just split them into conditional and unit effects first.
Let's start with that. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll start from the bottom, work my way up. You can do the other way around.
This one is just a unit effect.
Heroes gain 2 units when they attack. Is that a base effect, a conditional effect, or a unit effect?
I think we just have to go through each card together.
Yeah, we do. 100%. Yep. Okay.
You want to start at
yeah, we'll start at the top. I'm here with you.
Yeah, I need more coffee.
Okay, deal. Here, I'm gonna be right back too. Okay, I'm back. A conditional effect. Oh, let's see. Conditional effect gives a conditional that gives a conditional. All right, we already talked about that. Oh, there we go. When a hero attacks, hero gains 2 units. Right. Was that said a minute ago, or I don't know. Either way. Okay. If the hero attacks, you may attack 2 targets, but take down. Okay, so this should be. Yeah.
I've returned.
Welcome back.
All right. Starting from the top.
That's a unit, for sure.
That's the unit effect. I think that one's pretty straightforward. Just increase the number of units its base effect plays. Okay, if this hero has 10 or more units on it, you may attack 2 targets, but only take damage for the highest power level. That's just a unit effect?
Yeah. If you have 10 or more units on it, you may attack 2 targets. Sort of. It's a little confusing. Sorry, I'm just responding to Maximus here. I think we kind of have to keep it as is because it got confusing if we had it differently, I feel like.
Oh. Proposing to reword the first half.
Oh,
if you
the
have
first
10 or
half.
more units on this hero. I think that's okay. You have 10 or more units on this hero.
Does that really change much, though? If this... Oh, instead of saying on it. Yeah, I guess it sounds better, right? You have 10 or more units on this hero versus if this hero has 10 or more units on it. I don't think it's... Am I wrong, or is it? It's not changing that much. It just sounds different, right? Or am I?
It reads different, but I don't think it actually changes. You have 10 more units on this hero. This hero has 4 more units on it. I think it just reads different. It doesn't actually change anything.
Yeah, I think it just reads different. I would just leave it for now.
I'll make a note.
Or undo it, or I don't know. Like, leave it as it was, maybe. Because that's how all the other ones are worded. They're all worded that if a hero has 5 or more units on it, is how everything's worded currently. Right? Is that not directly conditional? No. So, like, it is a condition, but I was suggesting, trying to say it would be a conditional, not
okay,
suggest rewording. Okay.
Good. I'll leave a note. Yeah, I think our intent here is to just split effects that happen when a certain game action is taken versus effects that happen because you have a certain number of units on the card.
Right. Conditional effect might not even be the right word, but we'll get there.
Conditional effect is better than activated effect, because activated effect was so confusing.
Yeah, because so we're just trying to divide these up, because right now we have kind of like 2 different types. Yeah, we have the one with X number of units on it, and you have something like when a monster or hero dies, gain 1 unit. Like that's different.
I also think from a design perspective, unit effects, you can probably introduce the concept of some kind of gem for the number of units it needs to have on it. That'll make it a little easier to parse.
I could see that.
Whereas a conditional effect is probably just going to be...
I mean, in fact, I could probably get rid of the entire first statement and then just have like a gem with the number and then just the word.
Yeah, actually.
But that also requires
we'll get to that.
That's probably a later thing, because that's going to require yet another text box, I think.
Yeah, and I agree, Max. I don't think conditional effect is the right word. It is kind of like trigger. You know, let's call it triggered. Triggered in unit.
Yeah, triggered might be better. Yeah.
Oop, that's not right. Okay, but yeah, units. This one's also a unit one.
Yep.
That's a triggered effect.
Correct. Yeah, triggered is a better word.
We should be looking at base effects too. Question.
Yeah.
Gain 3 units when attacking. That's a trigger?
So that's when we get to our purple effects that we were talking about here. Because Osgathian Fortress, right, has the same effect, but it also has a unit effect. So if we make that something
that's giving another card an effect. Osgathian Fortress gives your heroes an effect.
But it's effectively giving it a triggered effect, though.
Yes, true.
if we make this a triggered effect, it could be giving it a base effect, or it could be giving it a triggered effect.
This feels like it should. Let's make this a triggered effect.
Okay.
For now.
Okay.
And then we'll see how many things that breaks.
I think that does end up making us have a third column here called like triggered unit effects, which are just going to be our purple effects. But that's okay. I'm not worried about that per se. It's just conditional.
3 unit?
Yeah. 3 units.
Yes, there are things that gain shared triggers. That's why we haven't touched Bridge.
I also want to talk about Balance doing gain 3 units when attacking. Is triggered. Aren't there things that can make things trigger? Yeah. Yep. It gets very confusing, and that's why I think separating these is going to help a lot, though, because then we can choose which is if it's activating triggered effects. I mean, Bridge should just be like one thing you does triggered effect or unit effects, and the other does triggered effects, and that just makes it so much easier. Which is ironically, it's. I don't know. It's gonna get weird. We're gonna see. We'll get there.
Yeah,
I think we just have to take it as it comes.
For now,
jumping
back a little. Yeah,
it kind of is overpowered, but requires a lot to set up, so it's not that weird. So it's not too overpowered, I don't think.
Okay, question.
Yes.
Cleric of White Hand. Place 2 units on another hero you control during your unit's phase. I'm going to argue not a triggered effect because a game action is not causing it. It is literally a phase of the game.
I think so. I mean, it literally could almost just have like a unit spawn effect, and then just like its base effect is like when you gain units they must be placed on, well then that become no, when you gain units they must be placed on another card. Is that a better way to phrase that? And then just give them like 2 units that they gain per turn.
I kind of agree with Max's logic here. It's just a base effect. It happens no matter what, as long as the card is in play.
Agreed. Yeah, I like that. Yeah,
I think you're not wrong. Of like maybe it might be simpler to call it unit spawn with a different base effect, but let's leave it for now because we have a bunch of other shit we have to.
Agreed. Yeah. Cool.
I think Necromancer Altar is still a base of.
It has to. The problem is it has to be, because we can't have both these boxes filled. It has to be. Because even if we had something that had a triggered effect and a unit effect, it can't be both in one box, right?
I think I'm gonna remove the colon though and reintroduce the comma, just because this is not a condition. I mean, it is, but
yeah,
it's not a condition of like a game action that happens. It's literally just if this other card is in play, this will happen.
Right. It kind of has to be that way. So I think it's fine as is.
This one's weird.
Sulfus Monk.
That's just not a triggered effect.
No, I think that's just, again, a base effect. Because, like, certain things have to be base effects, if that makes sense. Like, it's inherent to the card. It can't affect any other cards when it's triggered. It's doesn't require a number of units. If card is in play, isn't quite fitting into units or triggered.
I'm putting a comment on this one. Sulfus Monk probably needs to be reworded now that we've introduced this concept of triggered versus unit effects. But I think it's a base effect.
In what way?
Because it says when attacking with this hero, which in other situations we're turning into a triggered effect of when attacking.
Gotcha.
It sounds like it should be a triggered effect, and that's why I think it needs to be reworded. But I don't think we need to do that now. I think it's just...
I mean, why don't we just... Can we just reword it to say hero only loses... Like, just remove the when attacking, just change to... Oh, wait, no, it has to be when attacking, because...
Yeah, because otherwise it loses otherwise. But that's where it's like, it needs a rewording to not sound like...
In attack phase. It could potentially say instead, like in attack phase, you hear it. Yeah, so we'll come back to that. I think it's okay for now, though. It's not so confusing that I think anyone reading it wouldn't be confused. But yeah, it could use some rewording.
But that's why I just leave it as a comment, because it's like it's not even worth, like, if we never get to it, it's okay, but it should be looked at.
Deal.
When placing units, an allied player may choose to take units currently placed on this hero and place them on their own. Well, that's... Place them on heroes they control. Yeah, that's how we've introduced the wording concept.
Right, yeah. I've noticed that some of these things just don't have, like, the correct wording on them. Or like...
I mean, we've admitted there's an entire, like, review all of the cards to make sure that we're using the right terms.
Exactly.
We gotta use the politically correct terms for our game. I'm sorry. The joke was there, and I took it as a lowbrow joke. I apologize. I'll see myself out.
How dare you? Okay, Druid.
The phase of the game.
Druid.
I think that's a base effect as well, because it's just...
Yeah. I think
it's not
so
a game
too.
aspect phase game.
Yeah, because it's the thing is, it's happening in unit phase. I feel like triggered effects happen outside of like a specific phase. It happens at any time, right?
Yeah, unit effects just happen. That gets a little weird when we have like with it when attacking with this hero, but it's still like you're taking a game action has occurred and now effects are happening. Whereas this is you reach a certain phase of the game.
Yeah.
When placing units in allied, oh wow, I'm on the wrong effing card.
Yeah.
If this land has a structure placed on it, gain 2 more units during your unit phase.
I mean, no.
You could argue...
It could be argued it's triggered, but I think it doesn't need to be.
I think we try to leave that as base because it's, again, it's not triggered by a game action, and we're trying to have triggered effects be game actions.
Yeah. Not exactly something you gain when attacking. It's more like you do a different attack. Right. Oh, okay, yeah.
Reference to Sulfus.
Sulfus, right.
Draw an additional card at the start of your turn.
That's just fine. Base.
When the monster or hero is destroyed, 1 unit. Perfect. Your heroes now gain 1 unit in the unit phase. That's fine. Your structures now gain 1, and that's fine. That's a unit effect.
Yes.
That's a unit effect. Oh, well, now we're getting to it. Your hero has returned to hand when they are destroyed. If the structure is 5 more units, your heroes have the effect when this card attacks, gain 2 units.
So if we leave Barbarian as is. This has to be a purple effect. Or a both effect. A triggered unit effect. I would argue.
Why?
Because when attacking, this card gains 2 units is a triggered effect.
Right, but that's a triggered effect that it's giving to other cards. The structure itself doesn't have that effect.
Fair. Okay. Yep. You're right. Yeah, you're right. You're correct.
Although I do want to change the word terminology here. When attacking with this hero. Like magic. That's a triggered effect for sure. That's a unit effect. Oh god, I'm using Mac keys. That's a unit effect.
Another
unit effect.
Yeah.
Oh crap. That's not a base effect. That's a triggered effect. That's a base effect.
Oh.
These are
why did we swap those?
I have no
idea. I know why we did. It's because we actually did this recently. We did this because it with bridge doesn't do anything. Well, actually, no, it does. It's just better. It's just better with bridge the other way, I guess.
Yeah. But as its own standalone card, it would make more sense to do this.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I was just thinking it through.
One additional for every units placed on the structure. If this card is destroyed, you immediately gain. Oh, that's yeah.
Is that how it was when I'm trying to remember if that's? Yeah, that's got to be. Yeah, that's fine. I think that makes sense.
During your unit phase, you may ignore hero restrictions and move units from your heroes to place them on other cards you control. That's fine. That's a unit effect.
And we swapped this, right? They used to be the other way around. Or did we not do that?
Which one?
Because we were the sorry, let me pull up the patch notes real quick. Why is this in separate? There we go. Because we had a note on Osgathian camp. Conditional effect doesn't work well with Brage. Could be swap base effect for conditional effect. Did we do that already, or did we?
I mean, I think Bridge just needs a straight up rework at this point.
Yeah.
Not rework. But
honestly, this will fix it. Honestly, doing these things, probably I'm pretty sure. But I'm just trying to decide.
Are we still talking about Osgathian?
Yeah. We can ignore it for now. We'll come back to that. We could always swap it later. Mage Tower. That's unit effect. That's a
triggered effect.
Yeah. It also needs to be buffed. This needs. I'm just gonna do it now. If a structure or land, honestly, because otherwise this is kind of worthless.
We're not touching bridge for a hot second.
Yeah, skip bridge. Spells don't matter. Gods.
When a card is played, place 2 units on that card.
That is triggered. Yeah, it's triggered. This is, what do we say for? Well, so this is actually should be more.
That's a give the effect, actually.
Yeah, this should be worded more like the Osgathian Fortress, right? Yeah, your heroes have the effect. Yeah.
And this hero attacks. Gain 2 units. Player card is destroyed, gain 5 units. When you play a land, gain units on that land equal to the number of lands players currently control. Draw an additional card at start turn. Okay, those all work.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Bridge. Pain in the ass.
A bridge too far. Okay, in theory, we can use our new terminology, right? If a card you control has a...
Bridge has awoken. Yeah, it would just be...
It should in theory just be... if a card you controlled has...
It would just remove the unit piece of just like... If a card you control has triggered... Has a triggered effect, the effect also applies to your allies. Does that work?
I think this should say unit effect.
That has a unit effect?
I would say if... Let me just... card you control has a unit effect. It also apply... God, you probably have to say activated unit effect, which is a new term, but I think that's how it has to be. If a card has an activated
unit effect, the effect also applies to your allies. Let's look down the unit effects and see if that makes sense.
Okay.
Cleric of White Hand does not make sense.
Right. Damn it.
Literally 30 seconds later. Nope.
Oh yeah, it's totally gonna fix it. Oh no, it's not. I'm thinking.
Okay, is it just cleric, or is cleric proving the point? Like, do others work?
I think it's just cleric, actually. Potential. Wait, no, we don't have any.
No, Elvish Archer also doesn't make sense. Is what are we saying that?
Yeah.
The,
all other heroes. Yeah, no.
That's OP as F. Goddamn.
I mean, we could just reword it to be structures, maybe. Huh, let's read all of them. Which, okay, so cleric doesn't work. That doesn't work. Mage works.
Mage is fine.
Mage is fine.
That's
Necromancer Altar's fine. Fortress is fine.
Fortress is fine.
Farm
is powerful,
fine.
But fine.
Yep.
Trading post doesn't really work.
Trading post doesn't work. Searcher has 5 more units on.
That doesn't really work.
That doesn't work.
That's fine. It's like 50-50.
Great.
Oh crap.
Because yeah, that trading post doesn't work, despite being explicitly mentioned in the synergy. Well, it's expressly mentioned in the second effect of the card, but
okay.
I'm thinking this over for a second. I have to do some mental gymnastics real quick.
Let's try it this way, Beats.
Yeah.
Let's forget what these two effects are for a second. What do we want Bridge to do?
Good call.
Because we're trying to like tweak the wording without reevaluating. Like, let's make sure Bridge does the things we want first, and then we can figure out the wording. Yeah. So I think what we want Bridge to do is in certain situations it triggers one set of effects, and in other situations it triggers more effect.
Right.
And I think specifically we wanted it to be like the base effect is stuff applies to your friends, and the additional like unit or the additional effect is that now you can gain more units. The problem is now we've distributed gaining units across 2 different effects.
Which I think I still like what we just did.
I think it's a better outcome. But...
It's better clarity, but we still need to figure out how bridge works. I think the more important / interesting thing to retain, if we have to choose one over the other, is the first effect. If basically applying your effects to your friends, I think that's the most interesting thing.
I think we have to just straight up remove / rework the ability of, like, when you have trading post, it then lets you gain additional units, because there's no clean way of doing that.
No, yeah. And I think that's, like, you guys are trying to make Bridge do is make effects activate the player. So
yeah, we want it to be like your cards now give benefits to your friends.
So, like, a good example, Necromancer Altar is a great one. The structure has 5 more units on it. Your heroes are returned to your hand when destroyed. So this effect would also be applied for your ally, and then it allows you to do that. I think, honestly, what we should do, if we want to have something like this effect, it should be a separate card. We should have them two separate cards if we want to keep the secondary effect of the trading post.
The second effect is whenever someone else gains units, you gain units equal to that, put them onto trading post or whatever the card is.
Right, yes. So I would say this is less, I care about that less than the base effect of activating those things. This could be a separate thing, like, I don't know, transport vessel, and then we could just do something like, you know, I don't know. A boat, yeah. Maybe cards have tokens on them, show that the effect triggered with Bridge. No.
That's not a bad concept, but I don't want to introduce just one visual icon for one card.
Yeah.
Like, that's... Like, I really like the idea. If we had more things that did that, I'd be 100% for it, Maximus.
Yeah.
I just don't like introducing visual clutter because one card is funky.
Yeah.
Like, that's more... If we have to do that, then that means we didn't design the card itself well, that we have to introduce a whole icon to make it make sense.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's a really good fix. Like, to be clear, I want to
it would fix everything, and then we could just literally have it on, like, any of these. But, like, I mean, technically, I mean, looking at triggered effects on the only triggered effect that I would be like, I would potentially want to work with Bridge is Library, but that doesn't, I don't need that, you know?
Well, first we're just straight up removing this.
Yeah, actually, copy that and throw it into...
Yep. I'm throwing into new cards.
Yes. Perfect. Thank you.
Where's new cards? This doc is becoming a mess.
Oh, I moved it to a new document because...
How dare you?
It's called Future Ideas.
How dare you?
Well, hey, you were just saying that it was becoming a mess, and so I don't know. Just act real offended. Okay.
Okay. Lord.
I'm trying to think how to word this.
So what would we want it to do for these effects that don't really make sense? Like Cleric of White Hand. Increase the number of units its effect places to 4.
I'm trying to think. See, I'm not like even sold on the cleric's like current ability set. I like the fact that they can like give units to other people, but they're kind of like not super interesting. You're never excited to get a cleric, really. But I don't necessarily want to design the thing around I don't want to design other cards around Bridge specifically. I mean, I guess designing it in such a way that it makes sense though. In that way, probably is better. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think here. All right, let me label these. I'm just gonna fill these different colors. So this is, I'm just gonna do this for a second. Is that how I want to do that? Yeah. That one, this one.
Just breaking the patch notes, sorry. Meaning we're labeling the ones that are problematic.
Correct.
This one.
Okay.
That one. Literally half of them.
Okay. So Bridge isn't working. Let's see. If the card you control,
I want it to work though is the problem.
yeah, that's the thing. It's such a cool card, and I like. This card has a. This card may attack. Oh right.
Not even neat.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, Oscathian Camp, I was talking about swapping effects. And then it would work.
Oh, so we can just attack whenever, but...
Yeah. And yeah, I think my argument here is that you're not going to attack multiple times if you don't have more than 5 units on it anyway.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, so I think that fixes that one at least. And I think it's just more interesting in general anyway. The Bridge is a really fun card, but it is the problem. Yeah, it is the problem. But I think if we get it to a certain state, we can make other things work in similar ways or interesting interactions if we get this sort of clerically good, right? This ends up making more sense.
Do you think we can remove during your unit phase and it just says you may ignore hero restrictions just to make it less text?
Yeah, yes.
I think it's assumed that would be during your unit phase. Technically, it's actually less powerful as a result because there's some cards that let you move units around whenever.
Yeah.
Okay, so that kind of fixes this one.
Okay, so that fixes that one. Can a player attack like 2 minions while having low amounts of health? Yeah, technically, but I'm okay with that. Especially, yeah, I guess now that minions are a thing, but
I don't think that makes this as a base effect overpowered because you're attacking with a structure that has this super powerful, hopefully, this powerful activated or unit effect.
Yeah, that's gonna get hard. That's gonna get difficult.
I think it's just more because I've got ingrained the old terms.
Oh, same, yeah.
Okay, if the structure has 5 more units on it, the units placed on this card may be moved at any time regardless of game phase. Oh, it's trading post. Of course it's trading post.
Does this have to have a requirement? Oh wait, this is that increases the right. Yeah, because that is nice, but also like kind of weird that that's the requirement, I guess, right?
Yeah, this card's weird because like the whole point of the card is you acquire a bunch of units on it and then you want to move them to other things. So it's kind of weird that it triggers when you have that certain parts of it trigger when you have units.
Yeah, like you want to have, yeah. You want to have units on it regardless, right?
If you have a ton of units on it, then it activates a certain ability to move units at any time. But then if you decrease the number of units on it too much, now you can't move it at any time, which creates a weird, like... There's a weird play pattern there of like, oh, if I have 5 units on it and then I move 1 unit at any time, and now I only have 4 units on it, so can I move those remaining 4 units?
I mean, do we just change the base effect to allow it to work at any time? Does that ruin anything? Really?
You just lose the incentive to place units on this?
You sort of. I mean, it's still just the incentive. It's like the condition. The condition is incentivizing you to place more units on it, but you're required to have units on it to do it. So it's like you're still gonna do it. You're more like,
definitely I'm fine removing the unit effect, or at least the unit requirement as part of that effect, because like it feels weird that you just have to have 5 units on it to activate it, and then those are 5 units that you're kind of wasting, so you just have to have them there.
Yeah. I could maybe see like changing it to like some sort of other requirement. Like if a card is destroyed, you may place them anytime during this round or something. Maybe that's not.
I like what you're getting at though.
But like yeah,
it's a activated effect.
We change it to a triggered effect instead.
Or triggered effect.
It's fine. You're good. I knew what you meant, but.
All right. Well, let's just start out with that just to make it not be.
Yeah.
Oh, what?
I hate when it doesn't default to that.
Yeah, I don't like when Google Sheets messes up the formatting. I mean, do we want it to just be like...
Yeah, what could the condition be? I think a card being destroyed is decent just because, like, that's kind of when you want to do that, but it's like... Honestly, I'm actually just a proponent to just changing it to you can just do it anytime, regardless.
Right,
because then it gets confusing. Like if you do, when a card is destroyed, then you're like, oh wait, can I move my units to that card that was just destroyed to save it?
No, but let's not introduce that.
Yeah, well, it just gets confusing. Like I think I could see during.
I mean, does that just remove the first effect entirely then? Oh, no, it doesn't, because it doesn't entirely remove the first effect, but it kind of removes parts of the first effect, because if you can place units at any time, then you don't need to specify during the placement phase.
I feel like you could just, reword this to say units on this card can be moved to maybe move to
any card under any player's control
at any time.
These units.
You know what we could do?
Yeah, I guess at any time.
Yeah. What might make sense then?
Regardless of game phase.
What
were you saying?
I was wondering if we like put a restriction on it then to like only heroes or something, but I don't know if that.
Oh, this is probably broken as all hell.
Yeah. Units on this card can be moved to any card under any player. Under any player's. We say any so many times. Under a player's control. I feel like that's implied. It just sounds better. Wait. Do that.
Oh, I clicked into it too, so I think Google did the weird thing where it does like.
Yeah, here I got it. I got it. Like that. Just less any's.
I do feel like it probably needs to be restricted to like certain card types.
Something, yeah. But I'm wondering if it also matters that much, you know? Because we just effectively nerfed structures. There's only one of each, right?
Let's just leave it for
I'm okay
now.
with structures being powerful as all hell, honestly.
Let's just leave it for now, and if it's stupidly broken where we can pull it back a little bit. I'm always a proponent of like, let's leave things a little more powerful at first and then reel it back in rather than like
the League of Legends approach.
Have fun. It's most game design. It's honestly better to be a little overpowered than and have to like figure out what the balance is than make things boring.
Agreed.
Okay. Well, that fixes that one. Now we just have the two heroes that don't really work well.
So we have two options here. One, we rework these guys. Or option two, we make bridge only work with structures. Which I think is probably the easier way to do it. If a structure you control has an activated effect, it also applies to allies. It's especially since it's a PvE game, better to introduce things that are overpowered. Yeah, and like balance a lot of the time in PvE doesn't matter so much as long as players don't feel like they're shitty versus their friend.
Yeah.
I would say.
Let's just make it structures. F it.
Yeah.
Let's. If a structure you control has an activated unit effect, that effect. Those effects also apply your allies. Cool, done. We fixed it. We probably didn't fix it.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if I think we did fix it. It's just bridge has been significantly nerfed, but I think that might be okay.
Yeah, I think we're gonna need to playtest it a little bit to see if Ridge feels good.
I think the only thing we could do if we wanted to, we could have a unit effect that says something like, kind of like the previous thing for Trading Post, except instead of having a Trading Post in play, it just places units like, something along the lines of like, if you have 5 more units on the bridge, if a triggered effect or an allied trigger effect is activated, or wait, no. Oh, it'd only be for you instead. Yeah, reversing it. Which could be interesting. If an allied effect, activated effect is triggered, it also triggers for you. Any unit gain is applied to the bridge or something. Because like we have to be worded in such a way because we've got library, right, which is card draw, and then everything else is unit gain, which maybe means library needs to be slightly different, but
and I picked 5 or more units, but
yeah, I think that's fine. If structure has 5 or more units on it,
wording here needs to be parsed probably better. But like, if an allied trigger effect occurs, you also gain that effect. Any units gained are placed on the bridge. Probably using the word gain is not great, but
no, I think that makes sense because that's how we use any unit gain.
Maximus playtest, but secretly put bridge high up in the deck.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of stuff to test, but I think this works. I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
There's nothing inherently broken, meaning like all of the play patterns work functionally, which is important.
I am questioning how
what are you questioning?
No, I'm not questioning anything. I was gonna say I am questioning how necessary it was to divide unit and triggered effects, but
it's very necessary, Beetle.
Yeah,
it is very necessary.
But it is.
This makes the game so much less complicated in terms of like, okay, this stuff only happens. Like these things only happen when there's a certain number of units, and these things happen when an action occurs.
Yeah,
that's a lot simpler.
It's clarity for sure. Yeah, if nothing else, it's clarity. Which I think leads us to our last thing, which is growth. Right, we didn't touch that.
Oh, right. This started because of growth.
Yeah, we saw growth and we're like, wait, no, we need to do this. That was exactly how it was getting started streaming today, because I was like, oh man, I gotta fix Caster Labs, which is my like combined chat thing. And it was like, oh, you need to do this in OBS. I'm like, oh, okay. And I open OBS, it's like, you need to update. And I'm like, okay, I try to update. And it was like, you need to install your newest NVIDIA graphics driver. I'm like, god dang it. It's sending me on side quest after side quest. Anyway, it's just that kind of day, I guess. I feel like this almost could end up being modal now, but I
mean, this is just a spell that does what Bridge does.
Wait, trigger all activated effects.
Well, before it was
you or your allies control. Oh yeah. I feel like I don't really want it to do that. I honestly don't even remember it being that. I kind of almost want it to either.
What do you want it to do?
I almost want to say like it either activates all your triggered effects or all your unit effects for a turn.
What if? Yeah, I was gonna say, what if it basically just says, "Hey, your unit effects are all active for this turn, regardless of how many units you have on those
That's kind of
cards."
what I wanted it to be. Yeah.
Let's have it do that. Okay.
Yeah.
For this turn. All cards with unit all unit effects.
We did use the term. Did you say are activated?
Activated, regardless of the number of units placed on those cards until end of turn. All unit effects are activated. Your unit effects? All unit effects? Probably all unit effects. Just make it OP to start with, and then we can reel it in. All unit effects.
Unit
for
triggered is really necessary. Yeah.
Cards in play are activated regardless of the number of units placed on those cards until end of turn. Basically, just removes any of the unit requirements. Probably a better way to phrase that, but honestly, it's fine for now, I think.
It's over maybe like extra clarity, but I think I'd rather have that than too little.
Yeah, so you play this and all of your stuff that has a unit effect is just active regardless.
Yeah.
Which I think works because Cleric would then gain 4 units. Elvish Archer Elite can attack 2 targets. World Studied Mage doesn't do much.
Unless you consider that like they get to draw a card instantly. But
I'm fine with that reading. I just don't think that's super clear.
Yeah.
Okay, so right now the way World Studied Mage is supposed to work is you have 5 units on it. At the start of your turn, you draw an additional card. That's how it's intended to work.
Right.
Correct?
Correct.
Are we okay with adding when you put 5 units on it, you get to draw? No, because that's broken.
No, because then you can move units back and forth forever.
Put your units on it and draw your entire deck.
Yeah.
Fudge.
Well, you'd only be able to do that if you had a activated army camp, but
I don't know if I even want to introduce an infinite card.
No, me neither. No, me neither. And also, like, it could introduce a weird strategy where you're... Yeah, no, it doesn't work. Nope, not at all. Because
that's competitive Magic the Gathering level bullshit that I don't want to get into.
Yeah, because you basically, like... Because you could like specifically attack and then add units to yourself, and then like that gets really weird.
I
and
do
confusing.
not want the ability to flicker units on a card to draw your deck being a possibility. Like that is, I have Magic the Gathering decks that let me draw my entire deck.
Yeah,
they're broken card combos that probably shouldn't exist, and they're not clunky per se, but like, yeah.
So the card combo whole deck ruins the whole game, especially when your friend is going to be waiting there for 4 business days for their next turn. Yes, exactly.
That is a common turn of phrase in Magic of, hold on, let me wait the 3 to 5 business days while you finish your turn.
That's funny. I guess the only other thing is like if we really wanted to make like growth modal and like have it so you could trigger all triggered effects in addition, or like just once instantly.
I feel like that'd be more interesting as a different card.
Yeah, probably. This is actually that's where it starts to get into like deck building, whether like growth is worth it in your deck versus like the other card based on what you have as far as things.
Yeah, I agree.
Because right now, you know, growth is only useful if you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or actually no, 1, 2, 3. I mean, whatever, like a small portion of cards that exist in your hand, but that's fine. I don't think I'm necessarily like
putting it on the card list.
Yeah, just add it.
Okay, so Wizard doesn't really do much with growth, but that might be okay. Necromancy Altar.
That works.
That works. Farm works. Army Camp works.
Do we?
Mage's Tower does not work.
I mean, do we just put a thing in growth saying card draw activates instantly? Because that fixes Mage's Tower and Mage. And we don't have to reword Mage Tower and Mage. I think.
You may immediately draw any additional cards.
Sure, yeah.
Again, this entire card probably needs a revision pass on just like making the wording more clear, but for now,
I think it's good.
I kind of want to play test it first.
Yeah. Is that everything? We did bridge, we did camp.
We did growth.
Oh, there's just some like, at this point it's all like rule book stuff, right? And then I guess changing some terminology and stuff. Like this turn. Which that shouldn't be too difficult, but I don't know if that's
not super interesting.
Yeah, also don't know, it's been
about
2 hours and you said I think I'm good for like 1 hour, and then
well, we got in the middle of
absorbed
triggered and unit effects.
It's like, fun, you know. It was fun. At least I had fun. It was brain intensive, but it was fun. So I got my art assignment for me, which is make art for
yeah, and
triggered and activated.
I don't think any of these were actually purple.
I'm gonna say triggered. Can't. Whatever. Make art for effects. Effect icons. There we go.
I'm gonna fix the script for the formula for you.
Oh, cool. Yeah. If you want to just have it say like, wait, is activated isn't spelt right there, is it? No, it is.
That is
no.
activated.
I was like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, that is misspelled.
Not just swear, but here we are. Anyway. I always get like weird, like I'm like, should I swear? Should I not swear? Like I swear sometimes. I don't like want to like just curse all the time, but like doesn't really matter that much. Here we are. It was entertaining. Okay, good. I'm glad.
I think this should work.
The swearing or no, I was kidding. No, the stream. I'm just kidding. Yeah, I'm gonna fix the names anyway. I'll be triggered in unit effect and then yeah.
Oh, I can do that.
Yeah, just change it to triggered effect. And honestly put underscores
between the
words, because I think that it likes that better on Dexterous, I think. I'm not 100% certain.
Usually it's easier to not have spaces in a string when you're doing programming stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right, so now it's in theory broken, but I'll just make a honestly probably just color shift it to whatever and just
I think literally just take it, color shift it from blue to red or something and call it a day.
Yep. Yeah. And then so yeah, we'll have to go through some of the rule stuff, but like I said, that can be another day. But that's literally the only thing we have left to do to push this patch out, quote unquote. Rewording effects that have X number of units on it if first... Oh, that's the thing you were talking about. Okay, gotcha. Few players and card draw, yeah. I don't even think we should mess with card draw now that...
No, we just changed way too many things.
Yeah.
Honestly, this is actually...
Is that something you wrote, or is that...
You have X more units on it versus you have X more... I think we dealt with that right now.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's yeah.
With
okay,
card
that's
draw,
what I
we
thought.
don't want to touch.
That might go to... Well, honestly, we can just remove that, I think.
Yeah. And
maybe something we revisit next thing, but
I mean, they might need card draw. Not entirely certain, but
yeah. But we have no idea. The game has completely changed almost.
Yeah, like not completely, but also completely
changed enough that like game balance is, who knows,
out the window. I have no idea. Honestly, even just making triggered and unit effects, even though it didn't really change things, it kind of did in the sense that like I don't know how this changes balance at all.
Yeah. You know what I could do too? I can make it so anytime it says like when bridge says like unit effect, I could actually like make that blue or red in the text as well.
That'd probably be good.
That'd be kind of cool. Anyway, cool. I think that's good for now. We can end stream because I think that was. I think
once you make the art changes, this is now playtesting.
Yes, playtesting
like,
and just rewriting the rules, but that's something we'll just do off-screen. Turn changes and
rules rewrite is off-screen stuff, so like it's ready for another round of like we should playtest this and see how it behaves.
And hopefully I'll get this video out soon, and we can get some extra playtesters potentially, because I do have the old call to action there. So yeah. Anyway, I'll show my face for half a second and we'll say bye. But yeah, so thank you for joining me. You can see Luna. There she is. Look at her. She's in the palm of my hand. It's a very small cat. Anyway, yeah, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for being here, Maximus. See a few other people lurking, so thank you for stopping by. And yeah, I'll see you next time. I will be back on Wednesday, because that is my schedule now. So yeah. All right, guys. Bye.